Hi everyone, it's Debbie Sissons. It's Wednesday evening. I said yesterday that I would go live every day for a few minutes to talk about Thanksgiving planning and prep. I'm a little later than I thought tonight because I ran out to get some last minute items for my youngest son's birthday cake. His birthday is next Tuesday. But we're going to celebrate this Friday night by going out to dinner with my parents. So we'll have a cake ready for him. And then we have family coming in town. We'll probably do a little something on his birthday next week, but the big celebration will be on Friday night. So I had to get some things for his cake, which hopefully I'll show on Friday. We'll see how it goes. So Thanksgiving. I put together a checklist for you, and I'm going to post it on Instagram and on Facebook, and maybe I'll publish this video to YouTube also and post this checklist. But basically it starts 1 to 2 weeks prior to Thanksgiving, and then 4 to 5 days before, the day before, and then Thanksgiving Day. And I also put in a sample timeline so you can see an example of how to map out, figure out your timeline. And it depends really on how many side dishes you have, how intricate your timeline has to be versus what you can make ahead. So let's see, for Thanksgiving, 1 to 2 weeks before, confirm the number of guests and plan your menu. So hopefully you've done that already. Order or buy the appropriate size turkey. We talked about that yesterday, that the rule of thumb is 1 to 1.5 pounds per person. But I'm just extra and I rounded up to 2. Plan your table settings, serving dishes and utensils. I think I've decided that I'm going to go with disposable this year to save on the dishes a little bit. My husband, my dear husband, does virtually all my cleanup. And on Thanksgiving Day, he's standing at the sink. And my sister and mom, everyone pitches in, but he's in there when I'm prepping. He'll wash the dishes and get everything, keep it clean. So I think I'm going to do disposable silverware and plates that day because we're going to have a house full for a week and might as well cut back a little bit on Thanksgiving. It's not as proper to have disposable, but it'll make life easier. So you plan out your utensils, your serving dishes, you get your table settings. We have a tradition in our family. We have this turkey planter that my mom got years ago, and we take turns filling it with flowers and giving it to whoever's hosting. And this year I'm hosting, so my sister took the turkey and she'll bring it, so we keep the table setting really simple, just the turkey, and candles on the other tables because we'll be spread out. Let's see, review your menu and recipes to make sure you have a shopping list. And if you have space, start buying the non-perishable items ahead and store them. Like I said, my pantry, if we go in there right now, it's full. The left side is just our everyday food. The right side is for Thanksgiving with strict instructions to the rest of my family that they don't touch anything over there unless I say they can. So that's 1 to 2 weeks out. 4 to 5 days. Set up your tables with linens. And I forgot to add in here, put leaves in tables if you need. I need to put the leaves in my kitchen table just because we're having family for the week. Lay out your serving dishes with the corresponding utensils, and I learned this from my mom. She takes the dish, say for her squash, and she gets the spoon and the dish, and then she writes on a little slip of paper squash, and she puts that in the dish. So then she identifies, she'll set them all out on her dining room table a few days ahead. Then she knows she has everything. And if she's missing, she'll call my sister or I and say, or more like we call her when we're hosting, hey, can we borrow X? So, but you plan that all out 4 to 5 days ahead, and if you have to buy something, you can, or like us, we call up a relative and say, hey, can I borrow? And then we talked about yesterday getting the turkey out. 1 day of thawing in the refrigerator for every 4 to 5 pounds the turkey weighs. Start prepping any dishes you can ahead of time, like vegetables, your relish tray. So if you have carrot sticks, celery, if you have celery in your stuffing / dressing, I call it stuffing. I know a lot of people in the South call it dressing, but if you have celery, you can chop that up and bag it. Onion, chop it up, dice it up, bag it. Potatoes are a little problematic because you could dice them and peel them and dice them, but then you have to keep them in water or they turn brown. So I usually just do those the day before because, again, the space in the refrigerator is limited. And 4 to 5 days before, if you're using fresh bread for your stuffing, you want to start drying it out. You put it in a pan, lay it on the counter, cover it with parchment or something, and start drying it out. And it takes 2 or 3 days, and then you can cube it and bag it. I've also done a faster way where you can put the bread on baking sheets and put it in an oven that's like 250 degrees for 30 to 45 minutes, and you keep checking it and turning it, and that will dry it much quicker. My mom, I can still picture, she'd have those big throwaway aluminum lasagna pans just full, 1 or 2 loaves of bread. A few days ahead, start to get it stale, get it dry to make the cubes. But like I said, you can also do it quickly in the oven in about 30 or 45 minutes. In the last couple of years, I've just bought the pre-cubed, the Pepperidge Farm or whatever it is, the cubes, and then I mix all my ingredients together. And then 4 to 5 days ahead, if you can, complete your shopping, because those grocery stores get to be a zoo the 1 or 2 days before Thanksgiving. The day before Thanksgiving, if you ordered a fresh turkey, you pick it up that day, and that's when you prepare your turkey. Get it out of the fridge, take it out of the plastic packaging, stick your hand in and get the bag of giblets, the organs, the neck, liver, kidneys, things like that. And I keep those. We don't eat them, but it makes great turkey broth. So the day of Thanksgiving, while your turkey's roasting, I start out with a carton of chicken broth, but then I always have the giblets simmering in water on the stovetop, and I use that water for basting, and I keep refilling it. And then at the end, I use that water, it's now turkey broth, as the base of the gravy, so that I don't have to fool with what's in the pan and skimming off the fat and yada, yada, yada. If you have this saucepan of giblet simmering, you have a really nice turkey broth, and you can use that for the base for your gravy. And then the dog, chop up like some of it and the meat and give it to him as his little treat, which he enjoys. So you get the turkey out of the packaging, you have to rinse it in and out really thoroughly. The day before I set the tables, I make sure my salt and pepper shakers are all full, fill the butter dishes, all of that. And then you take some time, you look at a roasting chart. I put the math on here. I looked up, and the rule of thumb is like 20 minutes per pound. But I found that if you cook the turkey at 325, I believe this is, yeah, 325, an unstuffed turkey, which I do. I don't put the stuffing in, I just stuff the cavity with lemon and onion. But that's 15 minutes per pound, and if you do stuffing, it recommends 17 to 20 minutes per pound. So for my 24-pound turkey, 15 minutes per pound equals 360, oops, math error. I'll have to fix this. 360 minutes or 6 hours. So it needs to cook for 6 to 7 hours. You say 6 hours, but you also use a meat thermometer to check. I've had that where, oh, I've done it for the time, and then I get it out and it's still, the juices aren't running clear, which means it's not cooked all the way on the inside. So I always, always, always use a meat thermometer to check and to make sure when you get it out and it's resting that the juices are clear. If they're pink, it's not done. So the rule of thumb is about 15 to 20 minutes per pound. 20 minutes per pound for my size turkey would be 8 hours. We're gonna eat at 2 o'clock. So I write out a detailed plan. So the turkey, I've said this before about meat, you need to take it out of the refrigerator a half hour to an hour before you want to cook it, to let it get to a bit of room temperature. So for my schedule, I'm gonna have to get Mr. Turkey out at 5:30 in the morning to let him rest. And for me to prepare, I make a compound butter and rub that under the skin. And I put that here. But my schedule goes from 5:30 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon, when hopefully we're sitting down to eat. So I'm looking at this video and I realize I've gone 20 minutes and you're probably bored to death. I think we've gone over it, so I don't know if I'll need to come back on tomorrow unless you have questions. I will be putting out another video on Friday, Family Fridays. My sister, Mom, and I will be starting to cook for Christmas. We will be making stromboli and these little pizzas, family traditions started by my grandma, carried on by my mother, and now my sister and I. But they're two no-fail, super yummy, make ahead, put in the freezer, and then just let them thaw and bake on the day that you want to use them. So we're going to do that this Friday, and we'll record it, try to get my mom and sister on film more. So I hope you found that informative. If you have any questions or want to add anything about planning for Thanksgiving, feel free to leave it in the comments, and I look forward to reading them. Have a nice night, everybody.